You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, fave, subscribe, hit those notifications. If you are listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, please give us a 5-star review. It helps more than you know. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment. You can even comment about my tank top here. It's all about the boom. It's an Adam Cole Baby shirt for you AEW fans. Oh, I'm such a big nerd. Anyway, yeah, comment below. It helps in the algorithm more than you know, more than it should, really. And also share this podcast with your friends. I'm really trying to get the word out. And if you have other guy friends that need help with women, or, they're on their own life journey right now, maybe they need fitness tips, or they're entrepreneurs or whatever. All the kind of stuff that I talk about on this podcast, you think a friend might need that information, share an episode or two. Maybe they'll become subscribers as well. All right. Joining me this week is the self-proclaimed spurg whisperer. He's a writer, he's a YouTuber, and he's a budding TikToker. In fact, at the time of the recording of this intro, he just signed up for an Instagram account too. So I'll be sure to include that in the show notes. But his name is Alex Costello, and I got in contact with him because he's following all the same guys that I'm following in the space. He's fans of all the Rule Zero guys, and I've been following his Twitter account for a long time, and he has some really funny stuff on Twitter, and his account on TikTok is starting to get bigger as well. So at the end of this interview, go to the description and give him a follow on TikTok, because he's a pretty smart guy, pretty funny guy. He's red pill aware, but he's also married, so he brings that conversation to the table, that viewpoint to the table, which I think a lot of guys are surprised with, like a red pill guy who's married, like what? Anyway. So Alex and I, we talk about all that kind of stuff and a lot more, and I will bring you that conversation right after this. Hey guys, real quick, the sponsor this week is Duke Cannon. You see this right here? It's their liquid proper cologne. And I've been using this for a couple of years now, and I have yet to find a woman that doesn't love it. It's really inexpensive and makes you smell manly as hell. They don't have as many options as they used to, but right now I currently have one for every day of the week. I'm not kidding. This one right here, Lincoln, is my Friday cologne. My Saturday cologne is called Grant. And together, they get the job done, if you know what I mean. Visit duke.comeonmanpod.com or click the link in the description, and you get free shipping on orders over $25. Clicking the link says that I sent you, and you get free shipping. Win-win. You can't beat that, guys. I would call this liquid panty dropper, but I don't think Duke Cannon wants me to say that, so I won't. All right, joining me this week is a self-proclaimed spurg whisperer, writer, YouTuber, and budding TikToker. It's Alex Costello. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's funny. I see other guys in the space on Twitter refer to spurgs all the time, and I finally had to Google it. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about, spurgs?
Yeah.
It's referring to people with Asperger's, basically guys on the spectrum, right?
Yeah. The soft R artists. Yeah.
Right. It's funny. I had Ryan Stone on a couple of months ago, and before we started recording, he's like, dude, I got to ask you, man, like, you seem like a normal guy. Like, how did you get into this space? And I was like, I am a normal guy. I don't, I told my stories. He goes, dude, I swear to God, everyone's on the spectrum that find their way into the space. So
yep.
It is kind of funny. And I never even thought about it until he mentioned that. And now I see it everywhere. And I'm like, oh, that guy's on the spectrum. So not that there's anything wrong with that.
Definitely not.
So Alex, your Twitter bio says you have a blog.
Yep.
What's your blog called, and what do you blog about?
I actually was posting to my website that I recently took down, but I will be putting it back up. It's alexcostello.com. I blog about just kind of like mental models and different ways that as I've gotten older, I've realized that I've been looking at things really kind of incorrect and basically in like a really unmotivated way. So I'm kind of trying to turn things around, and I've been writing about it. So it's been helping me. But yeah, that website will go back up really soon. I just have to move some money around and do some stuff. I went through a job loss recently, actually, and that's the reason why I took it down, because I just wasn't sure where I was going to be at. So I ended up taking it down temporarily. But like I said, it'll go back up.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
37. Oh, okay. You don't look it. You look much younger than that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I'm 42 and I look much older.
But it don't matter, right?
It don't matter. It really doesn't. Do you do any other writing or just the blog writing?
Well, I mean, not to give too much away, but I'm actually a kind of an active member on a Discord server. I'm not sure how familiar you are with that platform.
I know Discord. I'm not on Discord, but
so there's a what the heck? My laundry. But yeah, there's like a manosphere space type Discord server that was actually getting spammed in one of Ryan Stone's live stream chats. Like, I don't know, I can't remember when I joined it, but I do a lot of writing in there. There's I mean, you and I have kind of touched basis together about talking about the red pill and such like that. So it's a red pilled Discord server, and yeah, do you do like married red pill, or are you anywhere on that Reddit?
I'm
familiar with it.
I don't do Reddit that much. You know what's funny? Do you remember before Reddit got really big, dig.com was like huge?
I was like away from the internet or something during that period of time, or at least that space of the internet. Like I was big on,
this is like 2008, 2009. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was like such like a nerd then. I wasn't even paying attention to that stuff.
Dude, you were a nerd. Dude, I was a nerd, man. Cause my day life, I've been doing systems engineering and network security for years. So talk about nerd shit, man. And back then, 2008, 2009, I was really focused on doing like IT related content online. And I would do all my promotions and stuff on dig.com. So I never really got too far into Reddit at all. And I didn't really even get into this red pill type space until maybe 2 years ago. So, but, and I'm not married anymore, so I have no business being on the married red pill.
Well, I mean, to be honest, man, from what I understand, you're probably better off going there. Cause according to a lot of the married red pill subreddit moderators, they're like, dude, the red pill Reddit is like a dumpster fire of guys just like emoting stupid crap all the time. So you're probably better off. I've dabbled in the married red pill, but back to the point. So I do a lot of writing on that Discord server where like married red pill has this thing called, field reports. And if you have had a discussion with Ryan Stone, I'm sure that topic came up, and there's like a big section on that Discord of field reports. And, I do a lot of writing over there and talking, but yeah, most of the content I've been putting out is TikTok lately, actually, thanks to you.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I figured you had some questions about it, but yeah. A lot of it.
Ryan's Mids Watch episodes are based on field reports, right? Yeah. They're
like old, like 6-year-old field reports, but a lot of it is still like really good information.
It's
like
all relevant still. It's not like
it doesn't age.
Yeah. That's what's great about this content is it's evergreen. It's not something that's a fad for 2022. Relationship shit applies to everybody forever.
Yeah. When you distill it all the way down, like you get all the modern tech, you get all the dating apps and sites out of it. Like the man and woman relationship is the same as it always was and always will be.
Yeah. Who do I know who runs that Discord server? There's a one time
Dante.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So if you know Dante, yeah. And Jack's a moderator there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Jack mentioned it once. He said that it's a really good space and there's lots of good stuff in there. So
yeah.
But I'm not on Discord. I haven't even looked at it. And I don't know. No one's ever really even sent me the link either. I feel like they would invite me if they really wanted me on there. So I just,
well, I mean, I could definitely talk to the guys about it.
Oh
yeah. No. Yeah, for sure. You can join us in our He-Man woman hating Discord.
Oh,
no
perfect.
problem.
Yeah. We can hate women because they ain't shit anyway. So how long have you had that blog that you recently took down that's going to come back up?
Just actually pretty recently. Like
okay.
That's kind of my whole shtick as to why I'm putting content out, because I discovered this whole, red pill space and I'm living it out in real time and kind of putting stuff out there, explaining what's going on, because when and I'm sure a lot of your other listeners have run into this and they've seen it. And I'm sure you've seen lots of it. Like guys discover this type of space because they've found themselves at a point where they're questioning what the heck is going on. Mm-hmm. And often it brings them to content that is, as I've discovered, incel / black pill content, but they all call themselves red pill, whatever, but
yeah,
it's not. Like they say that it's red pill to sit here and talk about what these TikTok girls are doing. And it's like, dude, that is not that's only half of it,
Yeah, I've had guys in the comments where I'll do videos talking about like what red pill is or whatever, and there's always someone in the comments like, "No, dude, you got it all wrong. Red pill's about holding women accountable." Like, how are we holding them accountable exactly, bro?
How can you? That's the first question. How can you do so?
We're holding all women accountable. It's retarded. And I try to explain this to these guys, like, dude, you can only change yourself. You can only work on yourself. You can't change women. You're never going to change women. So, that's what one thing I like about some of these other, like these creators like Ryan, right? Or even Rob Says, his content's really good. It's like you have to adapt for the times, and that's all you could do. You're never going to change these women,
And to take it one step further, I mean, why would you want to? The more that I like read about this stuff and write about this stuff and like really like put my brain to it and think about it, I'm like, why would I want to change them? Mm-hmm. Like I've been discovering more and more as I get older that girls just want to have fun. And that is a very true statement.
Right. That song came out in the 80s, man.
Yeah. She knows. Cyndi Lauper knew what was up. She knew it.
Yeah.
Like they really do.
They've always wanted to just have fun, and but then they try to hide it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's just like, okay, that's just women's nature, man. They like, have fun with it, dude. Don't get mad at them for being women. It's kind of dumb. Let's get back to more about how women ain't shit and other douchebags.
I could talk about this for days.
I was going to ask originally, this is what I was thinking, like driving in the car, if you were related to Elvis Costello, but your YouTube channel description says that Alex Costello is a pen name.
This is just a pen name.
Yeah. So tell us how you came up with that pen name.
It's just a play on Abbott and Costello. And
it? Okay.
Yeah. Because I loved all of their stuff from back in the day.
Who's on First?
Yeah, Dad used to play Who's on First for me all the time, and just doing that. And there was also like a Looney Tunes type cartoon that played off of Abbott and Costello. I think they voiced like these two mice or something, but it just really stuck with me. Then I always really liked that, like the last name of Costello. So I went with that, and then I just went with Alex because it's just a boring name.
Probably because of Abbott and Costello and Elvis Costello. Like Costello just has a like Hollywood feel to it too.
Yeah. And if you look at me, like I'm pretty Hollywood.
You look pretty fucking Hollywood, bro. Yeah. the guys listening to audio, they're like, does he look Hollywood? Yeah, he does. So, and the funny thing about pen names too, is Aaron Clary once DM'd me the other day and on Twitter, and he asked me what my real name was, and he promised not to tell anybody. And I'm not using a pen name. Like, this is my name. And I told him I really should have thought that through better before starting this podcast because there's some crazy ass people out there, and there's a lot of people in cancel culture that want to take down guys with podcasts like mine, and it's really kind of scary. And I'm like, holy shit! So I've had to like do stuff like on my LinkedIn, like make it private and stuff like that, so that and like remove my last name from it and stuff. Cause I'm like, people are going to look at that. They're going to see what, company I work for. And then they're going to go after my job and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just trying to help men out here, Yep. It's really scary. So if I could have gone back like 2 years ago when I started this, I probably would have come up with a cool Hollywood name. Like,
yeah,
Costello.
that's a tough one to wrap my head around too, of why people are like that. Like, why the crabs in a bucket? I've never really understood it. Like somebody trying to tear somebody else down just cause, but I mean, that's how some people are, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's not just crabs in a bucket either. It's like, the people that are really into cancel culture. I mean, they don't want you to just be as miserable as them. Like they want to like destroy your livelihood, It's like, I don't like what you're saying, so let me get you fired from everything and then ruin all prospects of you getting another job again. Like what? Like just because you don't agree with like red pill content and stuff like that. And I'm not even one of those guys that's talking mad trash about women, So yeah.
I don't even like calling it red pill anymore because it's got such a watered down title right now.
You know what? I've noticed that there are a lot of more prominent creators that are trying to distance themselves from that word or that term, red pill. They're calling it like Rich Cooper. He likes to call it unplugging. He doesn't like.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it comes from the same idea, the whole Matrix idea. But yeah, he's like, there's so many damn pills out there too. There's purple pills and white pills and blue pills and all. There's so many goddamn pills out there. It's become absurd. When like the original Matrix movie, there was only 2 pills.
Yeah.
so he likes calling it unplugging. I've heard other people do it too. I know if you I think it's on TikTok, if you even hashtag red pill, like that is still acceptable to hashtag, but people will go after your stuff and then they will also suppress those videos. So I don't put hashtag red pill in anything anymore. They've banned hashtag MGTOW on TikTok. So
I'm not surprised, honestly.
But good, because those guys are quitters. So
MGTOW's like, I've never met a real MGTOW, and the reason why is because I shouldn't. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't meet somebody who has actually gone his own way because he's too busy going his own way. Mm-hmm. The guys that I interact with and call themselves MGTOW, they're the ones who are interacting with talking about women ain't shit. So it's like, dude, you're stuck.
Or they're in my comments, like complaining about how women ain't worth the squeeze. And, like,
oh, dude,
if you really were MGTOW, you wouldn't be in the comments here. You wouldn't even be watching videos like this. My brother is a true MGTOW. He's had, I think, one girlfriend in his whole life, and that didn't work out. But he's just also very spurgy. He's not on the spectrum, but he's definitely got like issues. He works as an auto mechanic and lives in one of those campers on property. He owns an epic ton of property because he has such a low cost of living that he makes like, I don't know, 90 grand a year as an auto mechanic, and then just saves it all because his overhead is so low that he just saves it up, and then goes and buys land with cash. And so he's got a shitload of land, but lives by himself in a camper and is just happy to do it. He's no interest in like women at all anymore, and he doesn't bitch about it online either.
Yep.
True MGTOW.
Yeah, no, these people that proclaim themselves to be MGTOW, they're often. I did a video where I did like this flow chart, and I was talking about these guys that get stuck on there's a point in a flow chart where you're talking about if you want to do something, and it gets to the point where you have to actually do it, where you have to say, I have this burden of performance and I'm going to perform and do the action. They're stuck on just talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really sad. So speaking of doing videos, tell us about your YouTube channel a little bit. The description says that you use it to play RPGs and other video games while talking about Red Pill content. You seem to have started going a different route lately.
Yeah, I got to update that.
Okay, yeah, and you're starting to get a little more consistent with your videos, I would say.
Yeah, well, recently I went through a period where I lost my job. I mean, I can go into the details of that, and it was the company I was working for, the account that we had that I was managing, they tanked. I got let go because the company didn't have anywhere else to put me. So I had, a solid like 4.5 weeks of like, okay, well, I'm going to do some job searching. And I've always wanted to be a content creator. So I started cranking out videos every day, and I didn't know exactly what they were going to be about, but I knew that there was a lot of talk in like different quote unquote red pill communities where they're way off. Like they're just sitting there saying that women ain't shit. So I started doing reviews on these guys' videos, and it's been decently well received, way better received than I thought it was going to be. So I plan on continuing it. It's just, I did get a new job. I'm really freaking busy right now. So it's just a matter of putting it all together. I do have one video done that needs to get edited, and I'm going to put it forward, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been talking about. Just guys that are stuck in this phase where they're, like we said, just talking about it. And I'm also doing just some other like mental model type videos of talking about like how I think about things and how it's been making me feel a lot better and do a lot better in life personally.
When you mentioned mental models earlier too. What do you mean by that? Like I haven't really heard that term. Are you talking about like kind of like mental frame, or
kind of? Yeah, like just basically your outlook on things. So I had kind of an epiphany.
Or like paradigm then, like paradigm.
Yeah,
then.
kind of a paradigm. Yeah, you could say that. So like recently I had an epiphany of talking about the relationship between employers and employees. And from what I've noticed, like employers, they don't value their employees for how good they are at their jobs. Employers value employees by how well they listen to what they're told to do. And I've always found that too, because I've been a boss for a long time. And it's like anytime some guy stepped outside of the box to do something that I didn't say for him to do, I get agitated about it. And like that goes on a negative review. So it's never been like, hey, go to work and do this amazing job. It's like, no, go to work and listen to your boss. So that way, like if you want to impress your boss, get the job that they tell you to get done and then go the extra mile.
Yeah. That makes sense. Cause I was going to say, wait, but I've always been that guy at work that, I will work on like side projects at work and then show my boss like, hey, look what I developed.
Yeah.
And that's always got me really far, but yeah, you have to get the job done first. You can't be fucking around with that stuff and not get what you're told done. Cause then that just pisses your boss off. Cause it's like, dude, I asked you to get this done 3 weeks ago. Yeah, but I was messing with this new, blah. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Work on that stuff. That's all great, but you have to do your work first and then do. Yeah. Another common like mental model that I like, that I've been talking about a lot lately is, these guys that I see in these, MGTOW chats and things that they're saying, like they get really upset. And I put a TikTok video about this out pretty recently, and guys are getting really upset about women or even other guys not liking or loving them for who they are. And I'm like, dude, what is your problem? Like nobody cares who you are. You are the only person that's ever going to care. Yeah. I saw your TikTok
inside you.
Yeah.
Like nobody's ever, the only way that we can judge what somebody else is like is by watching what they do. That's it. It doesn't matter anything else. So these guys they're getting so stuck on like not getting that like female love fulfillment in their life, when really they probably are just, they might have had like great opportunity with women and just like toss it aside.
Yeah, they get really bent out of shape that women don't love unconditionally, and I'm like, and I've even talked to Rollo about this, and Rollo's like, yeah, women love you. It's just comes with conditions, but they'll love you, you know. And he's like, I've never said that women don't love, right? And Rich Cooper said the same thing. And so I bring that up to guys. I'm like, look, they do love you. And they're like, yeah, but it's not unconditional. Like, dude, get that out of your mind, man. It's never going to happen. You just need to be okay with it. Well, I'm just not dealing with women then if they're not going to love me like my mom loves me, bro. You know?
I mean, shoot, I don't even know if my mom loves me unconditionally.
Yeah, that's a good
like, come
point.
on.
My mom says she does, but her actions, yeah, I don't know. So go back to YouTube. Your thumbnail game is strong, man. Do you manually
thanks,
edit?
man.
Dude, yeah, they're awesome. Do you manually edit those yourself? Do you have a specific tool for that? Is that Photoshop? Like, what do you do for that?
I have an app on my phone called YouTube Thumbnail Maker, and I do it all there.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, it cost me like $4 to take the watermark off.
And that's it. $4.
That's it.
Dude, that's worth it. One-time fee.
I think so. Yeah, it's not monthly. No,
I'm writing this down. Everybody write this down. What's it called again? YouTube Thumbnail Maker.
Let me get my phone out. Hang on. I'll tell you right now what it's called.
I had Bulldog Mindset on his episode. By the time this drops, his episode will be out already. And I asked him what he uses to put captions in his videos. Hold on, I can't see that. It was too blurry. What's it say? It's too blurry, man.
It says thumbnail. I don't know.
There's just a YouTube thumbnail creator. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah.
So I asked Bulldog Mindset, John, and I asked him what he uses to put his captions in his TikTok videos, because his captions are awesome. And he's like, I don't know, man. I outsource that. Like, yeah, you're not helping me, bro. Yeah. All right. So cool. I'm going to check that out. Okay. So we've talked about this a little bit. You obviously make red pill or sexual dynamics related content. How did you get into this space? Like, what was your red pill moment? Your Batman origin story?
My Batman origin story is way more boring than everybody else's. Like, I never got zeroed out. I don't know if there's like some rule that Rollo put in place about you have to get zeroed out to be red pill.
I never did.
I'm the exception to that rule. I never lost at all. I just noticed that something wasn't right. Mm-hmm. And like things in the bedroom and I'm married.
Okay. You are married. Okay.
Yes. I noticed that things in the bedroom.
See, guys, right. You can be married and be red pill, dude. Just fucking stop. Like, I did a video.
I'll get into it too, and we could talk about that for a moment as well. Okay. But you know, I noticed that something wasn't right. Like, and I did the thing that any right-minded American red-blooded guy would do, and I Googled why. You went and bought
the 5 love languages.
No, I did not. I did not buy that. I mean, I think that I have like, kidding about that. I'm like preconditioned to like be anti-feminist. I think like I've always just been like, anything they say sounds stupid, so I'm not going to listen. But
it's written by a man, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's nonsense. It's chick crack.
I watched your video with Paul about it, and that's a great breakdown.
I used to live by that book, and when Paul explained it to me in the way he did, I was like, okay. it's trash. All right. So so anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So you started looking into it.
Yeah, I started looking into it, and actually it's a decent segue, me talking about like not liking like the feminist stuff, because I always used to watch these funny YouTube like clip videos of like Ben Shapiro owns feminist, blah blah blah, and all that red meat stuff. I used to watch that back in the day. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up in the Google search coming across Fresh and Fit somehow. And I'm not going to talk about them here. I think what they do is fine.
I don't want to, I never want to discredit what Fresh and Fit do. Cause they, with their type of content, they will occasionally put out some gems that can help guys out there.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of it is Jerry Springer type stuff, and they know.
Yeah,
it.
sure.
They
know. And and it's fine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was watching them for a little while, as well as the guy that I do a lot of reviews on nowadays, Taylor the Fiend.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of his stuff.
Yeah,
I was watching a lot of his stuff, and eventually I got to a Fresh and Fit episode where Rollo was on it. And it was talking, it was one of the episodes they did like where it like takes apart feminism and talks about like what the heck is going on. And like, that's what got me interested in Rollo. And then, I got to his content, which brought me to guys like Jack and the Let 'Em Burn guys and Ryan and Dante. And I met all those guys. So that's kind of the origin story, but yeah, no, there's no zeroing out. And I had gotten to that point, right, where I had to do some really heavy thinking, and it took me like 2 or 3 weeks of like really having discussions with myself. Like, do I want this marriage to continue? And, every time I distilled it down, I was like, yeah, I do. And so I took those appropriate actions and went for it. And, it's about a year later now. And I mean, things are remarkably different and astoundingly better, not to sound like all crazy with the adverbs, but
yeah,
and I really think
it's
nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much better, but
like, has it really helped with the relationship?
It's night and day.
Yeah.
At least I think like Rollo, he always talks about like, yeah, don't listen to what women say, watch what they do.
Yep.
And there's two sides to that coin. Like, yeah, you got to watch out for red flags, right? Stuff like that. But there's also like times where I'm just watching my wife walk around the house and I'm like, just watching her. And I'm like, what is she doing? Like, what's she doing over there? Like, it's interesting to watch her be herself.
Yeah.
To me. And like, it's really night and day.
Got it. Yeah. Nurse chick, she's probably going to listen to this episode. She listens to the podcast. That's my girlfriend. She's great. I find myself, since getting into the space and sort of realizing, a lot of guys get upset too, that, women don't really care about men's struggles, and so I find myself getting ready to tell her something. And I usually really think about what I'm going to say before I say it to her now. And usually I'll think about it first. And I'll say, does she really need to know this? Will she really care? And I just don't say it. And just that alone is amazing. She thinks I'm this like great guy. And I am, not to toot my own horn, but toot, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
but she just really appreciates me for who I am. And I don't bring her my shit. I don't bring her my baggage. And if I do have a problem that she might need to know about, I also will add a solution to it. Like, this is what we're running into, but we have these options, and like, she just likes that I am on top of that kind of stuff better. I was never that guy before getting into this stuff. I was always that, wear my heart on my sleeve.
Well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to do?
Yeah. I don't do that anymore. I just tell her what we're doing. Hey, we're doing this today. I'm very decisive now. And all that kind of shit. She just eats it up. She just loves it. And she, in turn, treats me like an absolute king. She cooks for me. She comes over, does all my dishes. And so I don't even ask her to do any of that stuff. She just does it. I'm just like, thank you. That's really sweet of you.
Yep.
And a lot of guys too, like, they get into the space and they think that they have to be jerks to women and stuff. And like, oh, you got to treat them like asshole. And if you're a gentleman with her, like, that's blue pill. Like, no, it's not, dude. Like, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So like, I open doors for her and stuff, like, this gentleman shit. It's not blue pill. I don't know.
No, and I think I did a video about this as well. It's like, these guys, like, it's all just a cope, because they haven't seen what it's like on the other side. They've never been in a working, functioning relationship where, you know, there's polarity in it, where there's like more of a dominant natured person and more of a submissive natured person. And they've never been there. So they just go like, well, yeah, it looks like you're just treating her like crap, so I'm going to do that. And calibration is not something that these people understand. They really don't understand. It's like, yeah, you have to stand up for yourself. Okay, well, you can do that without being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have boundaries and not be a dick. Like some people
It's
just
very basic stuff. Yes.
You made an excellent video on YouTube the other day on what the red pill is. And we've been talking a little bit about that so far, but can you give us a breakdown of what the red pill really is and what so many guys get wrong?
Sure. So the biggest thing that guys get wrong when they talk about the red pill is they do not strip away morality. And there's always like, well, how can this be red pilled if it's not what it says in the Bible? And they get stuck on that. Or how can it be red pilled if it's, you know, makes women look bad? Like, how can it be really the truth if people hate it? It's like, well, the truth doesn't care if it's hated or it's liked. And that's one thing that's like step one is like people do that. And then step two is when they realize that the truth doesn't really care, they go, oh, the red pill is the truth. The red pill is always what's true, and it's magical and mystical. And they sound like these red pill medicine men preaching red pill natured crap.
It sort of becomes cult-like, which Rollo's been accused of, you know, being a cult leader, which it's not. Guys, fucking stop. But
yeah. So yeah, in that video, and I kind of quote Ryan Stone talking about it, the red pill is just data. The red pill it's guys like you and me sharing a story of what happened to me and going, did it work? Like, this is what I did with this girl at this point in time, and this is how it went for me. And then they just apply that to how they move throughout their life. That's all the red pill is. And a lot of reasons why like red pill is getting so watered down is because of like this modern day and age of social media. Like we haven't been at this point in time, like as a species, where we can see and hear everything that's going on in the girls' locker room. Like we hear what they're saying nowadays.
Yeah, because they put it out on the internet. Yeah.
And we're like, whoa, we don't know what to do with that. Like, because that's never, like you said earlier, it's not in a girl's nature to be like that and put it out there, but they are in this day of social media. So guys and girls they're reeling, and we don't really know what to do with the information that we're getting. So, you know, a lot of what helped me a lot with talking with, you know, quote unquote, really red pilled guys was like, just slow down, take a breath, like just listen more, speak less, all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. When I first got into this stuff, like I read Rollo's book last year. I read Rich Cooper's book last year. And then I talked to Paul Benjamin first. Paul's like the first guy I talked to in this space directly.
He's great.
Yeah, he is great. And then I talked to Rollo next. And when I had Rollo on the podcast, I considered myself purple pill at the time, because I was like, there's still truths in the blue pill and there's still truths in the red pill. Like I wasn't really fully embracing what the red pill was, because I still had this preconceived notion that red pill was some kind of negative viewpoint on women. And it wasn't until I talked to him, I talked to Rich, talked to Ryan, that I realized like, no, I have this way wrong, especially like when you watch Ryan's stuff and Paul's stuff, it's just like, it makes so much more sense. It's like they take the negativity out of it, and they're just like, look, this is what women respond to. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just the way it is. And be happy with it. And you should like look at it and sort of look at women in a different light. Like, they're cute. They're fun. They're kind of like the what does Rob say? He says they're the most they're the most responsible teenager in the room. Just like once you have that viewpoint of it, it's like, okay, I guess I'm not purple pilled after all. They respond to strength, and it's observable, and that's what like a praxeology is, right? It's observable data that you can see in a large swath of women.
Yeah, like if you want to like sit here and say that red pill is like this woo-woo magic stuff, like if you need it to be magic, then just think of it this way.
Do people think of it as magic?
I don't know, but like a lot of guys kind of talk about it like it's this magical thing, and like if you need to frame it that way, then just think of it this way: like if it's magic, then you can be a sorcerer by acting different to get different results. Like if you really need to be like blue and purple pilled or whatever and talk about it that way, you can do it. Like you have the power to manifest other people around you's behavior, and you don't have to sit here and watch life happen.
Yeah, definitely. So we've talked about Rollo, Ryan, a few other guys in the space. Who else do you follow most in the space, and why?
Well, Jack, because I mean the guy's a personal trainer and he's ripped. So like when it comes to the physical stuff, I definitely go to him. And the reason why I really like him is because he holds you accountable, but he holds you accountable to improving yourself. He doesn't hold you accountable to like all these crazy high standards that bodybuilders are doing. It's like, okay, you want to train and get stronger? Good. How strong do you want to get? All right, well, let's work this hard to get to that point.
Do you signed up for his monthly coaching stuff, or do you?
No, I don't want to give him any more of my money. No.
That son of a bitch doesn't like that I like to run. So I won't give him any of my money either. Fuck that guy. Fuck you, Jack. Just kidding. I like Jack. I like him a lot. Actually, I told him that I was doing Tough Mudder, and he gave me some free advice. Honestly, he was like, you know what? He's like, if you're going to be doing all this body weight stuff, he's like, you really should drop weight. He's like, because that's going to make the body weight stuff easier if you're weighing less. And so I'm doing that. So I'm following his advice.
Their videos. It looks freaking fun.
Yeah, I'm down 5 pounds now, which isn't a lot, but so I have 15 pounds more to go. But I switched to carnivore diet. I was already doing keto. I switched to carnivore, and man, like, yeah, I've ever since I've done that, I've just noticed it like starting to drop. So I'm going to stick with that for a while, probably until my competition in July, which is when this is probably going to drop. But but yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, and Jack really does know his nutrition, and he's a licensed trainer in the Netherlands. Fucking Dutch. So
like if there's anybody else that I think people should follow, are you familiar with the Let 'Em Burn podcast, which is Rob Says and Nick August and Bull Rush?
Yeah.
That's the only podcast that I will watch every week without fail. And if I miss the live stream of it, I will go back and watch all of it.
Okay. I've only caught the first like couple of minutes of some of the episodes. I haven't really watched them. What do you like most about Let 'Em Burn? Because
the reason why I like them so much is because it's the whole like it's not about listening to what they say, it's watching what they do.
Yeah.
And like these guys, like they're all a little bit older than me. Like Bull Rush is a couple of years older than I am. But Rob is like, a decade older than me, or over that, and Nick is even older than Rob. And I look at these guys and they're doing their own thing. They're coming online every week to basically just chat with each other, and people show up. And the reason why I like watching them so much is because they've been through some serious shit and they tell the stories about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of every podcast, they all end it with this big grin on their face because they're loving life. And that's the whole reason why I watch them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I really like Rob's videos and stuff too, and his content. And he's still like spinning plates. He's got his belly dancer chick, but he also, dates outside of her, and he's just living life. He's happy. He's only like 5 hours from me too. He's not that far.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. One of these days I'm gonna have to ride my motorcycle out there and we'll have to meet in person. So for these guys, do you read their books, or do you primarily just follow their YouTube content?
I've read Ryan's book.
Fuck Files. Great book.
Yes. Great book. I've read Rollo's first one. I've read Positive Masculinity. I've read most of that. But right now I'm actually not reading anything. I've just been so freaking busy with a bunch of other stuff. But when Ryan's second book comes out, I'm going to ask him for an autograph version if he'll send me one. But I do plan on reading it for sure.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He is writing another one, isn't he?
He's close to done, I think.
Is he? Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe.
Rollo just came out with a new one. Clary just came out with a new one. Ryan's going to come out with a new one. I listed everything on audiobook. My book list is retardedly long. And I'm like, okay, this one's next. And then they drop a new book. And I'm like, fuck. So I put theirs to the head of the line there, and then and everything just keeps getting pushed off. I'm like, but you guys just slow it down with your books.
Well, it gets to the point where like there's a lot of like masculine Twitter accounts that are always talking about how you got to be reading all the time and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's just like you get to a point with these books where you've kind of internalized all of it, and it's just like a new version or something that you've already read and understand. So I've been slowing down on the reading personally.
I think what's better than reading a lot of books is reading a couple of them multiple times, right? Like then you really get something down, right? I have 3 books that I've read one of them 20 times, the other 2 like 10 times each. I call them like my holy trinity of dating books. But every once in a while I like to throw one of these in there and they're just like a one and done type thing, but it's good information, Yep. I'm listening to 48 Laws of Power now, and I think I'm going to add that to my multiple book read, where I'll maybe read that once a year or something like that. I've
heard nothing but good things about it, and I probably should check it out at some point.
You know what's good about that book is I was telling I have a friend from Run Club. It's a chick that I run with. She and I ran some marathons and half marathons last year and stuff. And I was running with her today, and I was telling her about that book. And I was like, look, that book is not for men, necessarily. It's for everybody. It's for men and women. And the stories in it are powerful. Like he talks about all these ancient examples, these really old examples of kings and queens and masters of state using these laws, these techniques to gain power, to be deceptive, be manipulative. And like, that's how they got to the positions they were in. And it's not about necessarily like, you have to be that guy. You have to be the douchebag, deceptive person if you don't want to be. But if you read this stuff, you'll recognize when someone's doing it to you. It's great book. I'm moving on from books though. Let's talk about your TikTok content. So, so you've recently started making TikTok content. How's that experience been for you? I've been spreading the gospel of TikTok for a while now, and
honestly, it's great. I love it. I won't lie. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Ryan Stone reluctantly started getting on there now, and now he's making a little bit more, but you could tell that he hates it.
Yeah, you could tell because there's nothing serious on there. Like he puts all his silly stuff, I think, on TikTok, which is fine.
Yeah, that's what TikTok's for, silly shit.
Yeah,
that's actually going to get you a bigger following than being super serious all the time.
I know that's why I got to start being silly then, I guess, because I've been talking serious stuff here and there.
You could talk serious stuff. There's what's great about TikTok is there's an audience for everybody, and everyone thinks everyone that's not on TikTok thinks it's just dancing teenagers and shit, but it's not. I mean, literally, if you want to be a chef, you can just follow all these like 5-star chefs on there, and they're just doing cooking videos. You know,
yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, there's a niche for pretty much everybody on there. It's not just dancing stuff. I find though, because every once in a while, like you'll ask about how to get more views and stuff like that. It is good to periodically jump on one of the stupid trends, somehow. If there's like a specific song that's going viral at the moment, and you can tailor it towards your niche, do it. Like that will boost your views like so much more than anything. And it's just so easy to build a following on there right now. It's like there's no reason why people shouldn't be doing it.
No, there's like I've gotten way more action than I thought I would. Like the YouTube channel I've been working on quite a bit, and I got to do better with it for sure with making higher quality content. But the TikTok is just like my camera on my phone is really good, and the quality's pretty decent, so it comes out nice, and I can add little words and stuff and text in there and help me get my point across. And it's this nice, quick little, like I literally will do it like on the ride to or from work. And I'm just like, all right, this popped into my head and I'm going to say it. And I put it out there, and I get home or I get to work and I'll write up the little description and upload it. And it's great. Yeah. It's a great little outlet to, I don't know, shout into the abyss. It's so easy to do a 1 minute clip to get your viewpoint across, and upload, just like you said. And you can put out, like they say, you need to upload like at least 3 videos a day. Dude, that's so easy to do. You're sitting there working and you're thinking about something. You're like, whatever, whatever you're going to say. It is really easy to do. That's one of the reasons why I really like doing it. One thing I would recommend to you, there's an app called CapCut. And if you do your filming with your phone camera instead of like within the app on TikTok, use your phone camera and then edit it in CapCut. There's like all sorts of fonts and texts and stickers and shit you can add to it. You can add music to it and edit it all in that, and then upload it to TikTok. And then you can also upload it to other places like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And it won't have all the branded, TikTok logo on it. Oh, nice. Yeah. I was wondering how you were doing that. I mean, I figured there was some way, but no, that sounds nice. I'll look into that for sure. Yeah. And I do that. I started doing that mostly because I would get in these upload bans on TikTok because I'd, say something offensive, I guess. And so I found that I still needed to edit my videos and upload them to other places like, Instagram and stuff. But I was solely relying on the TikTok app to do my videoing. So I was like, I have to switch it up. I have to do something else. So if you do the camera method and edit it offline, it's much easier too. So I'll definitely it comes across better too. It looks better. It's presented better, I think. Nice. So what is we got some time here. Perfect. You have several videos about grifters, and I hear a lot of guys in this space complaining about grifters, and it's almost getting to the point where everyone accuses everyone else of being a grifter as a form of gatekeeping. And for instance, like I'll get a YouTube commenter, and I can tell that they're like a Rule Zero fan or something, and they'll be like, oh, look at this guy, this guy in the space, he's a grifter. I'm like, what am I grifting? I'm not even selling a fucking Gumroad course, guys. Like, how am I grifting? You're just throwing that word around. But so anyways, it's almost like it's a gatekeeping mechanism. Like it's okay if you buy my course, but this guy over here, he's a grifter. So what's your problem with grifters, and what constitutes grifting in your opinion? Well, my problem with grifters is probably the same problem that everybody else has that's like-minded with me. And it's the fact that we and I'm talking about like guys with experience when it comes to, you know, the masculine and sexual dynamics grift. We know that what these quote unquote grifters are saying is not true at all. Like what we're seeing is not lining up. So that's kind of like my big problem, is that they're monetizing other people's failure. Like,
Okay.
you know, like that's kind of my big problem with it.
Okay.
Personally, you know, and it's like talking about like semen retention or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, come on, knock it off.
Haven't you done that? Have you tried that?
No.
You haven't tried suntanning your balls, bro?
No. You know why? Because nobody has ever done that before. Nobody. Like, as you think back like a couple hundred years ago when people were just walking around together like, hey man, see that hot girl over there? I can't get her, but I'm going to retain and stay strong in my masculine frame. It's like, no, dude, you're going to tell yourself a crappy story about why you feel bad. Like,
yeah. You're not getting laid. So you're changing the story to I'm retaining semen.
Like, are you retaining it, or you just can't get anybody to help you out? Right.
Okay, that makes sense. You mentioned him already before. You have a lot of reviews of Taylor the Fiend's videos. Now, I've never heard of Taylor the Fiend before. So who is he and why don't you like his content?
Well, I kind of touched on it before. You know, he's kind of monetizing guys to fail because he's like those MGTOW guys that only go halfway. You know, if we want to bring it up with, you know, Rollo's idea of red pill being a praxeology, they only do the talking side. They don't do the doing side. They just sit here and go like, this is a woman and she is bad because she does this.
And then hypergamy.
And then the story ends. It's like, okay, well, what do I do about it? Mm-hmm. Like nobody ever says that. And that's kind of like what I poke at with Taylor, because like, it's kind of a very passive aggressive way that he does it, where his videos are like really leaning towards, you got to hate women. Mm-hmm. And he never says it. He's never going to say it because that would destroy his brand. But all of his stuff is leaning towards, you know, he'll say like stuff like, these girls they're out here and, you know, they don't go for the nice guys. They go for the mean guys, and haha, they always get with the mean guys who are mean to them and they deserve it. Haha. It's like, okay. What do I do now?
Right. I agree that they don't go for nice guys, but they don't necessarily have to go for the mean guys. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's so binary with some of these guys too. Like it could only be this. It's like, yes. No, man. No, like you could be a good guy without being a nice guy, you know, and maybe that sounds the same, but it's not. There's a difference, you know. A lot of guys don't understand that, and that's really sad.
Agreed.
So you also, we've talked about this a ton. Maybe we don't need to talk about this, but you have a video on Doomers and MGTOW crowd. So Doomers, you say, are like black pill guys, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're like the hardcore fringe end, where they kind of have this mentality already preconceived that no matter what a woman is doing, it's like this dark manipulation against them. So like a woman shows interest in a guy, and it's not a good thing. She's showing interest to manipulate him into getting something that she wants, and the guy's going to end up destroyed in the end. It's like they have this preconceived notion, and it's just like, guys, come on, you got to knock this off. Like I think I did a TikTok video about it last week. Like people can only manipulate you and use you if you let them. Like it's really that simple. Like I would never let a woman or a man do something that is going to make me lesser or anything like that. I won't allow it. It's like, get out of my life. It's really that simple. Like we are not subject to the domination of women when I don't see that that's happening. You actually responded to TikTok video where I asked everybody, like, do you feel like your women are dominating you? And it's like, you answered
I said
nope.
no, but I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I would have said, yeah. Cause I was raised that way though. Like my mom is like a total epic nag, and she nags the shit on my dad. My dad just walks around like he can't win. He's like Al Bundy, still married, but I wouldn't say happily married. And my mom's, I wouldn't say is happily married either, but they've been together forever. So, that's a win, right? They're both just waiting for each other to die. So I just felt like that's how life was, And so when I was in my marriage, and my now ex-wife was this like bossy, domineering bitch, I was just like the, beat down husband. That's just how life was. Until I learned, like, no, dude, like, women don't like that. And that's probably why your fucking marriage failed, because you wouldn't stand up for yourself, and you wouldn't set boundaries with her, and you wouldn't lead and stuff like that. And so, I don't blame her for that stuff. I let it happen, and
it's that simple.
It is really that simple. So, it's really crazy. Some of these guys out there, and they just can't get out of it. I had, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Hypnosis for Men on. And he was saying that some of these guys can't move forward. They can't get out of that black pill stuff though, because there's a blocker in their mind that just won't let them. And, the mind's really there for survival purposes. And it's so, because they're comfortable and they're alive in this space, like, they won't get out of it. And you need someone like him to reprogram their mind, or somehow they need to reprogram it themselves, like with affirmations or whatever. They need to stop watching the confirmation bias trash, and they need to watch something that gives them another perspective that they can possibly believe, but they have to want to do it,
Yeah, I think that was probably one of my defining moments of like realigning myself, like with my mental models, as I finally realized that, my wife and any of the women that I was with before, they were just as blue pilled as I was. They didn't know any better.
Yeah, I would say most women are just as bad as guys. They have no clue that they're
they're worse, almost not worse, but most of them have no hope of getting unstuck from it. Mm-hmm. I mean, most people in general, I don't think, like, you could, like, these black pill guys, like you said, like, they are stuck and they cannot bridge the gap between desire and effort, desire and work. Like, I want this, so I'm going to bitch about it. Mm-hmm. It's, I want this, I'm going to do this to get towards what I want. And eventually you have to either get to that point, or you can start changing your mind and changing things up. Like, as long as you are moving throughout your days and constantly reassessing, like, is what I'm doing right now aligned with my goals? Yep. Keep going. I'm happy, whatever. Is it not? Okay, well, what do I do? And then you figure it out. Like, that's the whole praxeology part of it. You can't just have words. You got to have action. And I don't know how we got back to this point, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, this is a good segue to close out.
Yes.
Great conversation, man. Where can people find you online, Alex?
So it's Alex_Costello and then the number 9 on Twitter. I'm probably most active there, but I think TikTok is going to be something that I start doing a lot more stuff on there, but you can find me there. It's Alex Costello over on TikTok, and YouTube. It's just Alex space Costello. Like I have here written out. You can just find me there. And all my other links will be in those videos or on the Twitter space. But yeah, come and hang out. We're going to start probably doing some more like asshole consulting type stuff where if guys want to ask me a specific question, I'll do a video about it type thing.
You can't steal Clary's gimmick, bro. Can't steal his gimmick.
Well, it wouldn't be exactly like that. It would be like douchebag consulting or something.
There you go. It's totally different.
It's way different. It's like you remember Vanilla Ice when he was talking about not ripping off Queen? Like,
Yeah.
see, it's different.
Yeah, it's got he put a little on there. It's totally different.
It's different.
Good stuff, brother. All right, man. You have a good evening. All right.
Yeah, you too, man.
Alex, thanks for joining me, brother. You're welcome back anytime. You know, I say that a lot. A lot of my guests are, in fact, welcome back anytime. There's a few exceptions that I probably wouldn't invite back, and I'm not going to name their names. But if you go back through my episodes, you might get a feel for it. I don't know. I had someone DM me yesterday at the time of this recording, the recording of this outro on Twitter, and he didn't like the guest I had the week that I'm recording this. And he gave me a whole like word wall about, why that particular guest sucked. I get it. I can't win them all, guys. I can't win them all, but I will try to bring you good, compelling guests every week. So bear with me. If there's ever a guest you don't like, just let me know. I'll try to make it better the following week. All right. Man, you can't please everybody, can you? All right, guys, that's all I have this week. We'll catch you next week on Monday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.